There you go.
All right, thank you. Well, hello everyone. I'm sure I've met a number of you. If not, this is a Zoom way we say hi to each other. So hello out there. Looks like we have about 120 people and it's coming in. So I'm hoping this next hour and a half or whatever your time is useful. So the reason why we're doing this is that there's a lot of questions that club members have about what's going on. You know, we had a huge change in the way our club was organized through the discussions last year. But what happened during that time was that a lot of club members were asking about other things. And Lori and I thought, hey, what a great way to leverage Zoom to answer the questions that you have. And so I think what I'm going to do is start off with a couple of updates first. Lori and I will probably do maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes of updates that we've heard interest of. We got some questions online, and then we'll be looking directly at the Q&A and working through the Q&As. So first of all, many of you perhaps haven't met Lori Plummer. Lori, perhaps you can introduce yourself and tell the members how long you've been around and sort of where you are right now.
Well, thank you, Eric. I've been with the club since 2014. And are you guys getting feedback? Okay, well, maybe it's just mine. So yeah, I've been with the club 2014. Prior to that, I was in animal welfare, directing a nonprofit, and I love what I do. So our goal at HQ is to make sure that we can help our members get the most out of their membership.
Awesome. Thanks, Lori. And you all probably heard this before, but you know, I'm Eric. I've been in the club for, I don't know, just shy of 15 years. I keep waiting to get that third red star on my trailer, which signifies 15 years of service. My wife, Laverne, and I have been married forever. She's back there behind me, blurred out on the couch. Wave your hand, Laverne. You can probably see your hand moving. Ah, there's her hand back there. So she's helping with some of the chat stuff. Laverne also, by the way, is president of Region 12. So we have the joy of working together on the International Board of Trustees. My background is technology. It's also general management, nonprofit leadership, things like that. All righty, so the first things I want to talk about is why we're doing this. I mentioned that we're really trying to get out to people and find out what's happening in the club. We have the Blue Beret, but there's no doubt that the Blue Beret is insufficient. As members, we're looking to get information on a more frequent basis. And so Lori and I are working on a strategy to how to get more digital content, digital distribution of articles, of communications. You've all probably noticed that her team has just done a remarkable job in the last year of having really rich looking emails going out, informative emails going out. We want to continue that with updates as well. We're going to do this once a quarter, which means once every 3 months. We are trying to align a lot of things we're doing in the club to the quarterly basis. For us in our club fiscal year starts August 1st, so we're trying to do it every 3 months around August 1st, but this first one was a little bit late. So, you're going to see this in my next President Corner that comes out on November 1st, but our club has never been as healthy as it is now. Lori tells me that we have just over 18,000 members, which is over 9,000 memberships, so 9,000 Airstreams. That's the highest our club has had in 21 years. People often ask me, why is that, Eric? And I tell them that I think it's a lot of things. One is that there's no doubt that our club is benefiting from the boom in RV purchases and interest in the outdoors that the pandemic caused. There's no doubt also that Airstream Inc. has really stepped up their marketing campaigns, and the awareness of our beautiful silver trailers and that lifestyle is very well. You can't really watch a TV show these days over a week and not see an Airstream in it. I think that our branding has helped. Our club rebranded a couple of years ago to really have a little more modern font, more modern publications, modern websites, and that speaks also to people who want to be involved in this thing called Airstream. Along with that, though, there's a lot of people very interested in sort of how we were created. We're very careful to leave on there. We were established in 1955, our club was, by Wally Byam. And people these days are very interested in the history of an organization, as well as what the organization does. So I think all of those things are contributing. You'll see in my president's quarter that I think that our challenge as a club is to how do we retain that membership? For sure, there will be people who our club is not a good fit for, but by and large, my belief is that, we have 104 local clubs around the US, Canada, Asia, Europe. And my belief is that there's a club out there that meets the needs and interest. You'll see in my president article, I was talking to a gentleman at a rally a little while ago who is joined the club, and he's into boondocking. But the club near him didn't do boondocking. I told him, hey, look, there's other clubs nearby. So he's gotten that resolved, and he's hopefully able to do the things that he likes to do and get involved in a local club. So the other thing that we're doing, and we're kind of using some good practices from other clubs, and this is intra clubs. And so we, the backbone of our club is certainly the local clubs. That's where we see the people that we camp with every couple of months or so. We love those people. But there's sometimes things that we have a specific interest in across clubs. For example, the most popular one and well-known one is a vintage Airstream club. That's a really rich and vibrant club that has people that have vintage Airstreams. And the other one that's been around for a very long time is the Amateur Radio Intra Club, as well as the Classic Airstream Club. Over the last couple of years, we've added Indie Streamers, which is a club designed for people that often tow by themselves, be they female or be they male. And that the people that founded that club said, hey, look, we love our husbands, we love our wives, but sometimes, or we don't have a husband or a wife, but sometimes, when we travel solo, we want to travel with people, right? Because there's something cool about meeting a couple of people in the campground and going someplace. So Indie Streamers has been very successful solving that need. In the last 2 years or year and a half, we've also launched Future Streamers, which is a club designed to provide activities and things for youth. It used to be when our club founded, we'd have a zillion kids hanging out at the rallies. That is not the case as much. And part of it is our society, in that kids have a lot of other competing activities. But part of it, I believe, is the fact that we have not historically or recently done a great job marketing our events or having special events for families with kids that perhaps work, the kids are homeschooling or they're going to school, et cetera. We also just launched Stella's Sisters, which we're really quite excited about. We have Indie Streamers, but there's clearly also an interest in having a club where women and just women can go out and do things together. And so that just launched. It's getting its feet under it. And you'll start to see more about Stella's Sisters soon. We've also launched Boondockers Club for the same reason, Grapes and Grains. I understand someone was saying that Grapes and Grains is having is having a rally of about 80 or 90 trailers coming up this week, somewhere down in Texas, probably, or Georgia, I don't know. So there's a lot of interest. And the last one, of course, we just launched was Pride Streamers for the LGBTQ plus population. So what I've heard from members who've remarked on these is that, hey, it's really great that our club is providing specific interest for a lot of different, what I would call, sort of horizontal groups. We continue to do more of that. And basically, we're trying to provide something for everyone in our club. The other questions that I'm going to toss over to Lori for the next, we're going to go back and forth, is that we've had a lot of questions about our international rallies. They are also growing in popularity. We just finished an extremely successful one in Maine. I'm going to pass it to Lori to give an update on where we are in the IRs, international rallies, and some changes that we're making. Okay, Lori?
First of all, can you hear me now? I don't know why. Can you hear me? Okay. Any feedback now? Okay. Sorry, I have several different computers running. So, well, thanks, Eric. So as he said, Freiburg was a fantastic rally. We had 935 rigs at Freiburg, and that is the best number we've had since 2007. So we had a lot of great things happen in Freiburg, and we had some great feedback from the survey we sent out to our members. I think the biggest challenge in Freiburg, of course, it happens. Everybody knows the rumor. When a bunch of airstreams get together, it screws up the weather pattern wherever we are, right? So that was kind of a challenge for us in Freiburg. They had the hottest week that they've had in decades. Of course, it was the week while we were there. So of course, we couldn't do much about that as much as we wanted to. But what we like to see is these survey results. So we can really listen to and we really comb through the surveys and the questions we get back to us. So some of the things we heard from our members was they'd like to see more seminars, and the seminars about airstream and airstream, the physical airstream, and travel in general. So more like trip apps, things of that nature, because that's what a lot of our folks are coming to learn about. If you think about the 935 rigs we had there, over a third of those were first timers. First timers isn't first time to a rally, they're new owners, things of that nature. So it's really important to us that we're going to start listening to these results and trying to make some improvements. The other thing was improve our welcome meal, try to change that structure a little bit because it's so difficult trying to feed 2,000 people, as well as more food truck options. So what we're going to see in 2023, we've already started to act upon some of these changes, is we're going to do a different type of welcome dinner, more of a gathering, more food trucks, things of that nature, more of a festive type atmosphere is one of the things we're going to do. We just launched a new arrival process, meaning that you can choose your day to come in up to 3 days early. If you can imagine, in years past, it's been a challenge trying to get all of our members scheduled to come in when they want to come in, when they want to come in with their buddy and things of that nature. So that is also in process. We're going to consolidate the thank you meals for officers, as well as do a thank you event for all of our volunteers. So those are all big deals to us. The other thing that we've been trying to make common within our club is basically the name. I mean, of course, it's the Airstream Club International Rally, but we're just going to continue to add the year. So for example, our hashtag, for those who use hashtags or follow hashtags, it's going to be hashtag ACI Rally 2023. If you go onto Facebook and if you search that within the thing, then you're going to find everything about Wyoming. 2022 still there. So if you do that, you're going to see the history. So it's one way to keep us together, all of our information, the past, the current, the future, as well as next year. If you don't really know where we're going, you're saying, oh, wait, but it's 23. So you can find that information pretty easily that way. Let me keep going. I could spend the whole hour on the rally. Don't me keep going?
Well, perhaps not the hour, but yeah, especially as we look forward to the other rallies as well. Thanks.
And I can't hear you. Hold on.
Yeah, Lori, you could perhaps talk about
keep going, Eric. I can't hear you right now.
Okay, so let me know when you can hear me.
Go.
All right. So yeah, if you could keep talking about some of the upcoming international rallies, that would be great. And then we'll jump into some other stuff and answer some questions. Thanks.
So as you know, 2023, we're going to be in Rock Springs, Wyoming. Super excited. We already have over 800 registrations ready for that. And they're coming in every day, several of them. 2024, we just sealed our time out in Sedalia, Missouri is where we'll be in 2024. We have not sent out the official announcements, so those that are online right now are going to hear it. Our dates for that rally is going to be October 5th to October 11th. This is going to be our first fall rally. As you guys can imagine, and Freiburg was a prime example that our members keep asking us to get the rally out of June and July, the hottest months of the year. So we do everything we can not to get a conflict, but basically when we go to find a site, it's a challenge, number one, because we're so big. We're looking for 800, 900, 1,000 electric sites, and there's not that many out there. So that's our number one challenge. And then once we do identify those sites, working with them on their availability of when they can welcome us in there. The time of year obviously is a challenge. And then we look at the other club events, rallies, caravans, things of that nature. No matter how hard we try, we're going to have a conflict. We have over, if you think about our club having over 7 events a year between all of the national event rallies, the club rallies, the caravans. We're so busy, which is fantastic. I mean, it's kind of a good problem to have, right? We're going to run into a conflict. So that is exciting news for us. We're excited to work that out and to get moving forward on some planning things with that. And then of course we are already working on 2025 site, because our goal is to make sure our members have at least a 2-year notification of dates. And that's just not for your personal planning, but that's also for us to share with the caravans, the national events. So as a group, we can try to do better at trying to eliminate as many conflicts as we can. So that's kind of the short story of what's happening.
I'm looking at, thanks, Lori. I'm looking in the Q&A for any questions about the international rally. I haven't seen any in there, so I'm just going to skip back to one question I had. And there's been a couple questions about intra clubs and how to find out more about them, or national events rallies. And so I can't do too many things at once. And so if you go to airstreamclub.org, and at the very top, in fact, Lori, perhaps you can paste it if you get a chance. There's a drop down for explore, find a club, or about, and there's intra clubs, and it shows all the intra clubs there. There's also, if you look under events, there's all national events. So airstreamclub.org at the very top, national events, and it shows the national events and special events. Someone had a question about electric vehicles and towing. So I could talk about this all day too. Laverne and I have an EV. We love it. You can't tow our 27-foot trailer right now, but I was at a rally last weekend in the Bay Area, California, where a couple had a Rivian truck and they had a Basecamp X. I told them I wanted them to adopt me because that's one of my things I would love to see. So yeah, they're coming. Airstream Inc., as you probably know, is very well aware of this trend. They introduced something about a year ago, which is a trailer that helps make towing with an EV more practical potentially. So I would say on intra clubs, yeah, if there's an interest, no pun intended, in forming an intra club, reach out to me, McHenry at airstreamclub.org. I'll put it in the chat in a second, and I can get you steered into the process for creating an intra club. If there's interest in a new national event rally, like for example, one on fly fishing or bird watching or the eclipse in 2024, also on the National Events Rally page, there's a place to click on, and the chairperson will get back to you about sort of how to take a look at forming a new intra club. We had a couple of questions also about, how do we bring in new people to the club? And ironically, this is going to be one of my topics in my next president column as well. I was at a rally, as I mentioned last weekend, newbies, and there's probably 30 rigs there. 25 were probably newbies. And this was their first rally for a lot of them. And the one thing they all said consistently was that, boy, how nice it was to have someone say hi to me when I first came over. And then also throughout the weekend, particularly the first part of the weekend, to say, hey, come on over and join us at the circle of campfires, or join us for cocktails, and bring people over, go talk to them. I think a lot of us longtime members have just forgotten what it feels like to show up at your first Airstream rally and have a bunch of people sitting around a campfire, and they may wave over their shoulder at you, but then what? And so, I'll be talking about this in my next president column, but we have to do a better job of this. I would say there's probably 20% of our members, tossing a number out, never come to a rally, and they stay members for a year, maybe 2, and then they just sort of fade away. Or they'll go to one rally, have a bad experience, don't find any recourse to go anywhere else, and also drop off. So I think we have to do a much better job. We just appointed Cody Klingler. He's the new membership chair, and he's going to be also working with local clubs to help them structure some programs. Like, for example, this newbie rally we just had, the organizer sent out an email afterward and said, hey, what did you guys think? And I've been looking at the emails coming back from the newbies from last weekend, just saying, hey, how great, nice it was to meet you. So it's another touch, right, after a rally. And I think things like that are things that will encourage people to come back. How'd you like it? I'm following up with you. Here's our next one, things like that. Okay, other comments, Lori, did you see any there that like we got one about a discount fuel program from truck stops? I know this has come up a lot. Lori, do you mind talking about that, reframing it and restating it and talking about that?
Sure. So we are really trying to work on expanding our member benefits, as in monetary discount programs throughout. We will be launching, again, Eric, throw something at me if I'm jumping the gun. But we are going to be launching a program called a Benedy, which is a discount, members discount program, which will be for November 1st is when we're going to launch that. They do have some fuel options in there, but we are going to continue to go after other places like Pilot or TA or Loves or things of that nature. So that is absolutely something we're going to continue to look at and grow. Eric, if I saw a question on the thing about learning more information about caravans, then I also, and so I think I'm gonna, well, if I didn't have such technical issues tonight, I'm going to screen share, hopefully. So why don't you talk about something and then I'll screen
Okay.
share.
So I had a question someone asked about why are we limited to only joining one intra clubs? That's an easy one. You're not. And so as a member, there's your local club and you can only join one main club. It's like one main family or club, but you can join as many intra clubs as you wish. You can also join other clubs as affiliates. And what that means as an affiliate is that, hey, you know, Laverne and I, we're in the Greater Bay Area Airstream Club. That's our home club. But we're also affiliate members with the Arkansas Razorbacks and, you know, the Southeast Michigan Airstream Club and you name it, right? And these are other local clubs that we have an affinity to, that we want to be on their newsletters. We like that connection with the club. And so there's a very, very easy way now to join as many intra clubs and as many affiliates as you want. So I hope that answers that question. Lori, we got a question again to repeat the dates and location for 2024. Can you do that, please?
Absolutely. 2024 is in Sedalia, Missouri. And those dates will be October 5th through October 11th.
Okay, thanks, Lori.
And I can screen share now.
Actually, first I have to say, a gentleman, Tim, said that he's getting a Base Camp 20 in a few weeks and hopefully taking delivery of the Rivian early next year. Send me a picture, okay, really, because my wife back there says, yeah, I can have one, but then I can't go in her trailer. So, you know, I'll live vicariously through yours. Thanks. All right, Lori. Screen share.
All right, so let's screen share about the question about caravans. So if you log into our site, airstreamclub.org, and if you go to events and all the rallies and events, this is what you see. Now you can narrow that down by changing the list view and then see where it says event type. So if you change that to caravan, then you're going to see these caravans that have more information. And then you can click into the caravan and even get more information, find out who the leaders are of the caravan. So you can find out all the details that you need to see, the dates, the kitty fees, who your leaders are, things of that nature. So Lindy, I hope that helps you see that information.
Lori, while you're screen sharing, would you mind also going to the page that shows where the intra clubs are, and then after that, show the page where the national events rallies, please?
Okay. Okay, so I'm back here. So up here on this main bar across, where the Explore is, sorry, you go to Interclub right there. You can click on that. And here's the list of our 9 interclubs. Gives you a little brief description on them. And what you can do then is click on the interclub if they have their microsite going, which most of them do, because all of them are exciting and super excited to get people to join them. Here's more information about them. And then there's a note there where you can join, for example, grapes and grains. I believe we made a comment, but you can join interclubs or clubs as affiliates anytime throughout the year. It doesn't have to be during renewal season. Once you do join those clubs and then you go through your renewal process for the next year, then you will, they should be listed right there with your other clubs. But again, on the interclubs right here on the Explore, you can also click right here to join any of the affiliates. And then on the events paid tab here, if you scroll down, here's the national event rallies. Kate Coast is our chair of that group, and she's working with all of our folks to get more information so you can learn about some of these national event rallies. And again, I encourage everybody to go to our site as much as you can, because we are literally changing things daily.
I was saying that was me in the middle there, that picture. I was so excited. So I got to tell you, that's one of the funnest things. This is the can opener rally. It's a national event rally. It is an absolute blast. If you could ever go, it's called can opener because can, Airstream. Opener because it's the first rally of the year. It starts just before Christmas and ends a couple weeks later, maybe. But they have a really cool tradition is that on departure day, the people that aren't departing, they go up front in their pajamas. And they stand on the balcony of a coffee shop with their pajamas and wave goodbye to people. So that was me up front in I'm not sure there were pajamas, but I was a little nervous about that. But it's a really fun rally. Lori, we have a question someone asked about about bringing children. So the question is, I have a second Airstream I've registered for the international rally for the children, which is lovely. Do I have my kids join an Airstream club, or can they attend as my guest in the second Airstream under my club?
So the answer is they can, if they're under 8, they can come as your guest. And when you are registering for the rally, there's a portion on the registration form that you can have as guest. If you've already registered and they're not on there yet, no problem. You can call HQ, talk to the team, and they can add the children on to your registration. That's not a problem.
Thanks, Lori. And if there's a follow-up question to that, can you type it back in the chat and we'll try to address that. Abe Hernandez asked, he's a friend of ours, by the way. I need a campfire behind me for a fire pit chat. Thank you. I'll work on that for next time. Someone else asked, is there a way to join a club as an affiliate online yet? And the answer is yes. Laura, would you like to share how that's done?
Sure.
You're doing great, by the way.
Okay, so I'm going to log into our site as me. And then when you go to your membership information, don't yell at me that I haven't renewed yet, but I'm working on it. Right here on this tab where you say join as an affiliate, you can click there and it's going to take you to a form. And this is what we call it a mid-year form. But again, you can do it at any time that you want throughout the year to join an affiliate. And so you could go down through here and do that. During your renewal, you can also do it during the renewal process. And if you noticed here on the affiliate, there's also the interclub option is there as well. So we're trying to give everybody as many options as you can to connect with these other clubs.
Thanks, Lori. Okay, another random questions. Someone asked about 2025, where we're going to be in 2025. One of our Quebecois friends that we met in Maine. So hello out there. Laverne's waving in the background as well. Good to see you guys again. We're here for me again. So all we're prepared to say at this point, and I'll tell you kind of our thought process is that we try to distribute our rallies left, right, and up and down across the currently US. And so, this last year, of course, we were as far east as we could go. 2023 will be, kind of west. I guess it is west. 2024 will be west in the middle. And so 2025, we're looking toward the south. We don't know yet. I would say that by the 1st of January, we may have some ideas that we'll share with the Board of Trustees. The process we use in this is that we have a Board of Trustees, the IBT, and we've committed to them because they're part of it and they support their members, and that we want them involved in the discussion as well. And they're aware of this pattern of left, right, up, down. And they're aware of course, Sedalia. And so we're going to be talking with them probably in a couple of months about some ideas, but they're aware that we're looking in the south for 2025. Hope that makes sense. Okay, other questions? Questions about on the website, can we show if the rally or caravan is full? I think it's a fantastic idea. I don't know that, yes, so I think we can for the international rally. Lori, can you take a note that we can just maybe put something on the website for the international rallies, because we know there for sure. For the caravans, it's a little harder, and I won't dive into it right now, but we'll take that action item to look at that. But the answer is most caravans are always on a wait list because they're so extremely popular, plus the backlog after COVID. For local rallies, it's harder. We don't control centrally the local club rallies. Each local club, each 104 local clubs, they manage those 500 or 600 events a year. So that's a harder lift for us. I hope some of the local clubs are listening and thinking of doing that. I know in Greater Bay Area, we will say that it's full and click here for a wait list. I know some clubs do that, and maybe not all of them. Let's see, Lori, we got a question. We got a question online also about how do we, the general topic is that, we love our trailers, but there's problems sometimes. And we want to get that feedback to Airstream. At an international rally, maybe Lori, you can show how that's happened at international rallies through the feedback sessions historically with Airstream, but maybe talk about how we get that to Airstream now.
Yeah, so a lot of times when Airstream Inc. representatives come to the rallies, of course, they will give the presentation of the state of Airstream, as well as take your questions there while they're there. But when we receive information where someone's having issues or whatnot, then we will forward that over to Airstream Inc. To their customer service base so they can get back with the member that's having issues to see what they can do to help get their problems resolved.
Okay, so another question about intra clubs came up. This is on mountain bikes. I'm an avid mountain biker, by the way, as well. Although I have to admit, I have an electric mountain bike, so I don't know if you guys put me in a different group, but I'm 64 too. So I think all those ideas like mountain bike clubs, is just as valid and interesting as boondocking or grapes and grains, et cetera. So I love the idea. Again, reach out to me if you have interest in a intra club. We also just created another structure called interest groups. So a club is a little more formal. It's almost like a light local club. We don't have any interest groups yet, but for example, there are some people who are interested in a group around Frisbee, ultimate Frisbee.
Frisbee disc or disc Frisbee?
Yeah, disc
Frisbee
Frisbee.
golf.
Yeah, okay. It's one of those. If you know what it is, you know what it is. The one where the cages and stuff. I think at mountain bike club, mountain bike interest group or a fly fishing group or a, whatever group is something intriguing. So yeah, reach out to me. I'd love to help talk about that. Lori, this is for you. We have a question about the text says MALS, which means member at large. First, can you explain members at large and why that group is growing, frankly? And also the question is, can members at large who are members of ACI, Airstream Club, join a local club online, or do they have to contact headquarters?
MALs, sometimes we call them MALs, but those are members at large, which mean that they do not have a home club. And actually, that's part of, I like when people are on the, just side note, when people are on the fence of whether to join or not, they don't know which club's the right club. We encourage them to join as MALs, and then they go visit both clubs and figure where they want to stay. Figure out who's their people, right? So it can happen one of two ways. If it's during a renewal, a member at large can renew themselves right into another club or to a new club. If it's not during the renewal season, then they do need to contact HQ. Amanda and the membership team contact them, and then they will get things switched around. So it's a pretty simple process. You can either email or call, either or.
Thanks, Lori. A couple ones I want to mention. So thank you, Michael, that I'm okay having a mountain bike, electric mountain bike. I appreciate that. That's good news. I do want to talk about, I wasn't going to, but I said I'd answer anything. It just come to our attention that the 2024 rally was scheduled in conflict with the Jewish holidays. And I will say that's an oversight on our part. And it's one that we will endeavor not to do again. And the simplistic answer, and this is true, is that we're trying to get 1,000 rigs, as Lori said, in some place. The sites, especially in the South or the West, sorry, where the hot climates, the places we want to go are often most booked in the times we want to go there. And so there's this huge competition for access to those sites. And so we tried to do our international rallies in hot climates on the shoulder season, so the spring or the fall. Initially, we were trying to get to Sedalia in the last week in September, which would not have conflicted. We pushed it out to October, and we've realized starting today that we are in conflict with some of the Jewish holidays. And I apologize personally for that. That was an oversight on our board, and me, I take the blame on that one. We'll do a better job next time. That is not to say, though, that we will always be able to avoid things. It's just challenging. So I'll leave it at that. And thank you for those comments. I've answered hopefully as accurately as I can. It's my suspicion that in the future we'll be able to avoid that. One of the things I shared with one person who asked us today is that the new structure that you all passed last year about having 2-year terms and starting to get the Lori's team involved in the planning, her team can now plan out way ahead. We're already planning out 2025. In our old structure, we were usually limited to not being able to plan out that far and announce it that far. So, mea culpa. I hope people are still able to attend. All right.
Could I get the answer on are dogs allowed at the rally?
Oh, yes, definitely.
I saw Michelle and Don. Yes, absolutely they are. What we ask is that anytime they're outside of your rig, that they're on a 6-foot retractable leash. Of course, you pick up after them. In Wyoming, I can tell you we have 2 separate dog parks, and each dog park is going to have a big dog and a little dog section. And only service dogs will be allowed in the buildings as well as the eating areas, outside eating areas.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a good question about what Airstream calls drivables. So the drivables are interstates or atlases, the new Dodge Airstream partnership as well. That and base camps, which are the smaller trailers. We've heard repeatedly that our events and our seminars are not really focused on, excuse me for a second.
I'll take her home.
Okay, yeah, we've heard that our seminars and our events are not really focused on providing information that's of use to drivables and to the smaller base camps. This is something we're aware of. We're trying to remedy that. The reality, though, is that probably 10% of the attendees have drivables, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't provide some more information, particularly since I see those 2 segments growing. And in fact, if we are able to offer opportunities to some of our younger members who are more likely to buy the base camps towed by an electric vehicle, we need to make sure that we have some activities at our rallies that are valuable to them. So yeah, it's definitely something I'm aware of and something that's kind of on our list of things to work on.
And I would like to throw out there too, the AIs and the base camps. Again, you're part of the Airstream family. So I would suggest, hopefully we can get some either interest clubs together or an interest group or an intra club of those AI owners or those base camp owners, because it just helps bring all of y'all together. And then we can just continue to build on that and make sure that you're visible within our club.
Great. I'm just glancing at the columns. So someone asked Lori, I live near North Carolina, but I joined the South Carolina club. Is it okay to switch clubs? Great question. I'm glad someone teed that one up.
Absolutely. You are welcome to switch clubs. Again, all you have to do is contact HQ. We do not have that built into the database where you can do it yourself. So if you call HQ, talk to Amanda, Amber, Barb, one of the ladies in the office, they can switch you from one club to another.
Okay, I got a little nudge from my buddy Vernon. And this is about vendors and international rallies. So we know that when people go to an international rally, part of the reason they go is to be in the area, which makes sense. Part of the reason is to be around 995 other Airstreams. But a large part of it also is to learn about their trailers and frankly, buy things that are related to Airstreaming. And so one of the things I'm really quite excited about is that there's been a big increase in our vendors and seminars over the last few years, thanks to Lori, her team, and prior rally teams. And so, Lori, perhaps you can give some data, if you have it, on the number of vendors and exhibitors we expect to see, how many we saw in May, and how many we expect, hopefully, to get in Wyoming. And by the way, I'm advocating to get Yeti there, by the way. So Yeti and Kuma are my ones that I just need to spend more money on. But go ahead.
Well, we had 58 vendors in Freiburg, which we're super excited about. And I can say my first rally and was actually Farmington, and I think there was like 20, if that. So I'm excited about the way we're growing. We have space in Wyoming for probably close to 100, and that is our goal. We're expanding that team. And to be honest, we have kind of worked on marketing ourselves differently, right? We're working on reaching out or having others reach out to us instead of us reach out to them. And we're doing that by basically advertising ourselves through a few different channels about how we want to have a rally, we want to have vendors. And again, we have a vendor. I have to watch what I say, right? Because I don't want to promise something I can't deliver on right now. I can tell you we have a very popular vendor, a product within our club that's very popular. And because of our way we're marketing ourselves, they actually reached out to us to do a partnership. That's all I can say right now because we haven't worked out, nothing's signed, sealed, and delivered. But hopefully that'll happen very soon. So that is what we're doing, that rally, we're doing that club wise, just trying to kind of flip that switch so people come to us more so than us go to them.
So Lori, as long as you've got the floor there, and someone asked about what activities would be available for children, just expand on it a tad more for Rock Springs.
Well, Corey Barger is our youth and children at damn it. He's the coordinator there. I can't get the word out of my mouth. Sorry. And he has been doing a fantastic job. Every day he'll have different projects, different things, whether or not they're going to make taffy or they'll do some different things within it. So if you watch our Facebook page and as well as the rally site, as we build that program for the children, you're going to see more and more of that that come out, and you'll learn more about what's there for the kids.
So I'm a child at heart, as anyone who knows me knows, and I'm really excited. So one of the things they have at Rock Springs, which I did not get a chance to visit, is they have this really cool dinosaur museum there, and they also have a place the kids can go out into the not the middle of nowhere desert and actually dig for fossils. It's actually really cool. Plus biking and fishing and things like that, right? So it's a big priority of ours. And it's funny, we typically, or actually we've never released a schedule for a rally 9 months ahead of time. But Lori's team, we said that was a priority for us because frankly, people make decisions about whether to go to these things well ahead of the time. And we want to make sure they have informed decisions. And so Lori was able to put up a rally schedule early, but we need to flesh it out with more details. And one of the areas to flesh it out more is activities and interest for kids. So yeah, and so Corey's going to be working on that as well as some other people.
Another question I see, Eric, is about having a dealer at our rallies, international rallies. So Airstream dealers are by territory. So every time we pick a rally site, the first thing I do is call Airstream Inc. and to learn who our dealer is. And I am super excited about our dealer in Wyoming. Actually, he's had a dealership in Salt Lake I met him in 2017. So he's had a dealership in Salt Lake, and then he just opened a Wyoming dealer. And he is already a 5-rivet dealer. So he is super excited to be at the rally, and he understands the expectations. And so you guys know that I work directly with Airstream Inc. when we talk dealers, and Airstream Inc. helps me describe to those dealers what to expect, right? It's hard to say. I remember as we're planning Freiburg, I kept saying we're going to screw up your traffic, and it's hard to describe that, right? But so it's great to have Airstream Inc. and the dealers on site, and we continue and look forward to continually expanding that relationship and having more of them available on site.
And I answered in the chat, but there was a question about, is 2023 filled, Wyoming filled? And the answer is no. We have the capacity of about 1,235 sites, plus some boondocking. And I think we're just over 800 now. So no, it's not filled. We're also are going to be offering, I look at Lori sometimes because I'm never sure if I'm supposed to say this or not. And I'm sure I'll hear about it later, but that's okay. It's too late. So we're also thinking about offering some boondocking in Rock Springs in Wyoming. And the reason why is that, so many of us now have trailers that are extremely well set up with solar and lithium, and we can boondock for a few days. And some people want to come for a short stay. Some people don't want to be parked as close. So for example, usually in a place with 1,000 trailers, you're parked fairly close to the person next to you. I mean, at least they're your friend. And it's an Airstream. But some people would love to have an area a little bit separated from the activity, and so we're identified a boondocking area where we can spread trailers out in a field. So we're going to do that, and I'm not sure about the rest of it. I'll leave that to Lori.
We are going to do that. We have a piece of dirt that we think we can fit quite a few trailers in, with the hopes that we're going to sell out our 1,200 and some sites, but that is going to be available. We haven't fleshed out all the details, but we will be giving also the short stay option as we've done in the past, where it's a 3-day or something of that nature for those that just want to come in and kind of put their toes in the water to see what the rally's like. Those that are kind of worried about what the craziness is. So that will be available during Rock Springs. So keep an eye out. Next couple of weeks, we'll have more details pushing out. While I have the floor, I see a couple hands up, but I need you, those with your hands, please go to the Q&A and type your questions in so we can get them answered if you have some questions.
Okay, I just want to reinforce, there's a lot of interest. I want to reinforce intra clubs or interest groups. So a number of people, if you're interested in like fly fishing or base camps or drivable, the AIs, I think it's a wonderful idea to form some groups around those. I think it's a fantastic idea. So reach out to me directly afterward if you're interested, and I can see if we can get someone to lead it. Because that's the first thing, is getting someone to agree to lead it. But I would think that'd be fantastic. So thank you for those suggestions. Okay, we had a question, Lori, about how does a member find out what intra clubs or affiliate clubs that they're part of?
On your member dashboard, I don't know if I can share mine. I'm going to go back to my membership dashboard. So here on your membership dashboard, it's going to show you your clubs, courtesy parking, membership history, and then right here it will show you your interclubs, and then it will also show you your affiliates if you have affiliations there, as well as your registrations for any rallies. So this dashboard is where you're going to see it. I have big dreams someday to make these what I call cards, so that they're going to be smaller, and then you can expand them to see history and things of that nature. But this is where you can look to find that information.
Thanks, Lori. Let me just scan the comments again, and then I may go into some canned things. Okay, well, actually, one general question was, how do people, actually, so Jim Fi says, Lori, your hair looks great. And I'm feeling left out of that, Jim. So I spent a lot of time getting the gray off this side. So I'd like some acknowledgement, please.
Oh, that's funny. Hey, real quick though, can I jump into, because I see we have a lot of people on here.
Yes.
For those who know Deb Saylor, she's been our Blue Beret editor since 2010. She is retiring. We are very, very sad that she's leaving. Excited for her that she gets to retire. So her last day will be November 4th. So if those that know her, you can email her and say hey and good luck to her. And we do have another gentleman that will be taking her place. His name's Corey, and he seems to be moving along quite well at the office. So just want to mention that about Deb.
Okay, so how to sign up for, so the volunteer thing, and I'll just tee up the question for Lori's. So we have what, well over 150 volunteers every year, and for the international rally, and we have to have them, right? It would be cost prohibitive and not nearly as enjoyable. And so we're experimenting with a new sign up process this year that will allow people in general to pick their slot, not just say I want to be on shuttle, but that I want to be on shuttle on Wednesday from 4 to 8. I'll take the Thursday shift in the morning and the Friday shift. So we're working on that. Lori, perhaps you can share sort of the timing for launching the volunteer signups.
Yeah, so we'll be launching that probably within the next 4 weeks, if that long. And I tell you why, sometimes the delay in launching volunteer signups is we work through all of the logistics at a location. It varies from year to year. I'm sure a lot of the committees and whatnot are the same, but we also have some altercations. Like one year we may need more people on this team than we did in years past. For example, as I see Abe's name there, our fantastic pump out crew, we have full hookups in Wyoming. So we're not going to have that many on that pump out crew as we did in years past. So those are some of our delays, but I'd say within the next month, you're going to see us sending out emails again, letting people know the availability, what's available, how you can sign up, and things of that nature.
Okay, I want to answer a question from Cecilia. By the way, some of you know Cecilia. She was the one that she was club president of what were we called? Santa Clara unit when Laverne and I joined the club. She's a longtime friend of ours. So she has a question about when we're looking at meals, and let me explain that. It's actually really important because it's to my interest of having the rallies be fun and enjoyable and not a bunch of meetings. And so historically, our club, for whatever reason, we neglected to have a volunteer meal or function. We had a recognition event for the chairs, which was great, but we never did anything for the rank and file volunteers. We thanked them, but we never did anything special. We're doing that differently in 2023 and beyond, at least as long as I'm involved and Lori's involved. And so there will be a special dinner for all of the volunteers. I believe it's on Saturday. In addition, the volunteers will get a commemorative shirt. If you work out at a bike race, help out at a bike race or something, you often get a shirt that says, thank you, volunteer or something. In this case, it'll be shirts with the Rock Springs Rally logo on it, Rally 2023 logo, Airship Club International. General members will be able to buy them, but we're going to give them to all of our volunteers just as a thank you. Plus, we'll have a special thing on Saturday, volunteer recognition for all the volunteers at the end of the rally. We're doing something very similar on the front end. And so, historically, we'd have a by invitation only, a number of by invitation. I'm struggling with this, so get the words right. We'd have a number of by invitation only events for the outgoing international president, incoming international president, the chairs. There's a couple other ones as well. We did one also for the rally chairs. And so what we decided to do this year is recognize everyone from the leadership at once. So one function. And that I think is going to be on Monday or Tuesday. I'm not really sure. And so we're going to have all those things together. We'll all be together because I don't see where I should be in a different room, different from the region presidents or unit presidents or committee chairs. So Lori, do you want to expand on that? Because I probably got a little bit of it wrong, but you got the gist of it. So Cecilia, we're combining them all into two meetings. One, thanking our leaders in our club for the extraordinary amount of time that they put into it, and they do. And the second one, thanking our volunteers at the rally. Okay, Lori.
You nailed it. That's exactly what we're doing.
Wow, excellent. Another one that Abe asked was that, can we do a tutorial on how to navigate the website? I think it's a fantastic idea. Lori, if you could make a note and maybe something that someone in your team could do. I hear it over and over again. And people are often shy telling me because of my involvement in working and developing the website. But I'm the first to tell you that it is hard to find things sometimes unless you know where you're going. So after about 2 years now, we understand where people are looking most. It's usually rallies, it's usually, registration, it's, login, stuff like that. So I think we need to do a better job optimizing the experience of the website, but I think actually having a training thing would be great to do. So thanks. That's a great question.
Yeah, and
I'm
that
gonna-
is on our scope to work on getting some tutorials together for working on our website. I also saw a note in there about will seminars ever be live streamed or recorded? Again, that is based on equipment, manpower, things of that nature. Yes, we hope to get there someday, and it also depends on who it is. So, for example, just if we have paid entertainment or somebody of that nature, there's all kinds of copyright craziness that goes on with that. But yes, our ultimate goal is to have more recordings and things of that nature available to our members.
Okay, a couple more questions on intra clubs. So it says our unit has members interested in starting an intra club purely as an interest-based meetup. Blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, so this interest groups, we've not had one form yet, but reach out to me, Bonnie, if that's your real name on it, and we can talk about how to do that. I'm very excited about those. Interest groups are very light and informal. They don't need a president and a treasurer and a recording secretary. They're not going to collect money. They just may want to talk about base camps or fly fishing or my thing birding right now also. So thank you. I'm going to pause on our questions for a second. I want to talk about what we're doing with Airstream Inc. at a high level. And so, as you guys know, you should know, Airstream Inc. is extremely supportive of our club. I don't think we wouldn't be a club without their initial support. We had sort of drifted from Airstream Inc. as a corporation over the last while. That started to come back again as Airstream Inc. starts to see what we do is valuable to their members. Lori and I were talking to one of the executives at Airstream Inc. a while ago, and he said, our goal is to have our buyers fall in love with their Airstreams to the point where they will always be an Airstream buyer. Airstream Inc. says, if you buy one Airstream, we want you to keep buying Airstreams, right? They recognize that sort of the Airstream lifestyle is about that piece of metal, but more fundamentally, it's about the experiences that we have together as individuals. It's going camping with each other. It's when you're on the road and you wave your hand at this Airstream going down the road, you know who they are. Or if you pull together at a rest stop, invariably the two Airstream owners jump out like a couple of dogs and say hi to each other, right? And so Airstream Inc. really recognizes sort of how our club can help people stay Airstream lovers and Airstream buyers. And so to that end, their president, their CEO, Bob, and their chief operating officer, Justin, have made their corporate boardroom available in Jackson Center for our strategy meeting. This is the first time we've ever done this. And so our club is going to get together, the International Board of Trustees, in May of 2023. We're going to be meeting in Airstream Inc.'s corporate headquarters, in a corporate boardroom, actually, going over and developing a 2 to 3 year strategy. We've never done that before, but to be able to do it with Airstream Inc. In their boardroom is huge. And we're going to be inviting, of course, them to come in for parts of it and talk about sort of what they like to see in our club, and we can talk about what they want to see in their club. And so we're starting to really combine them together more. And I think they're very happy about, I would say, the value proposition that we offer. In fact, I don't know if you guys know this, but we get a discount now to the Airstream supply store for some of their goods. We're working on some other partnership programs with Airstream that it's premature to announce right now, but we're quite excited about how we're bringing the two companies together. And to the other point, I think that also makes us a much more valuable voice to them to say, hey, look, our members want better support for their drivables. So, for example, I was at this newbie rally last weekend. I think every drivable there, Basecamp Atlas, said, we don't feel we're getting the answers we need, or we don't know where to go. We feel we're different. We need some more attention. And so that's stuff that Airstream already knows. But things like that, we're going to be in a position to give back to them as we become more of a trusted partner to them. Let's see, questions about coming to Canada for the international rally. Totally would love that. Lori, do you want to touch on this one?
Sure. Yeah, I saw some rally questions I wanted to hit on. Absolutely. That is one of our goals. Again, we're starting to look hard about getting 800, 1,000. I keep saying 800 when I know better. Last year was 900 and we're already over 800 for this year. So we need at least 1,000 sites. But we're trying to figure something out. especially if we do a what I would say a complete international rally, which would be a week long. I mean, we may be able to figure out something else, but our goal is to get to Canada. Some of the other questions I see regarding international is yes, the Wyoming dealer, Airstream of Wyoming. Again, that's also a sister to Airstream of Salt Lake. They will be on site and they will be doing service while they're there. Gary M talk about the Katy Trail. It is actually a trailhead is right off of the grounds. It's at gate 10. We saw it there when we were in Missouri. We made sure we knew where it was. And then Abe, it is 10 people that is needed to start an interest club.
I'm looking at the chats over here. By the way, this is great. I don't know about y'all out there, but Lori and I are having a fun time. We did this in Maine, and it was just very enjoyable getting the comments. It's much more enjoyable when people are in front of us. But you know, hey, Lori, you talked about headquarters and staffing changes already. Oh my gosh. So this big constitutional change we did a lot, it feels like forever ago, but it was in June, July. And so we're going to be having our first election under this new format for 2-year terms starting in the spring of 2023. So about 5 or 6 months from now. And so Mona Heath, one of our past international presidents, she gracious enough to agree to lead a special committee I launched to come up with a process for how do we implement this in a way that we envision. In other words, how do we make sure that all the members in the club are aware the types of positions we have on the executive council and international officers, and how do we encourage all qualified people to apply or to basically get on the ballot? And then how do we select those people? So Mona's working on that report, but basically we're going to have an election in the spring that every member in the club will vote on directly, electronically, and then you will get to pick who goes on to the executive council. And then the full board of around 20 people, they will pick from that elected executive council who's going to be president, vice president, treasurer, secretary. Like I missed one, but yeah, that's coming. In about 5 or 6 months. It should be really good. I'm just going to encourage all of you out there who have an interest in helping out our club, serving on the governing body to consider running for one of the executive council positions. It'd be great. We're looking for new ideas. We're looking for diversity of perspectives. You know, we're not looking for a bunch of professional people, whatever that means. You know, we're looking for people who love the club, that love to travel and have ideas and want to roll their sleeves up and help. So thanks. Okay, let's
Hey,
see.
again, Eric, I'm gonna jump in there. I don't know what time it is. I see somebody asking, so how do you find out about international and region rallies? They get a calendar from their local club. So I'm gonna share my screen again. And I'm right now in my member portal, but either you can pick this, not this link, or right on our logo to go back to the main site. And when you go to the main site, I believe it was Stephanie that asked this question. If you go here to events and click on all rallies and events, and when it populates, it's going to populate 2 different ways. One, you're going to have a map if you're looking in a geographical area. The other filters are here by date, or you can go to the list view. And it's the same, I mentioned earlier about caravans, but it's the same thing here with rally. Like Unit 30 here is having a pumpkin fest this weekend, right? Yeah, they're having this weekend. And so if you just scroll through here, you can see who's having what rallies, and that's the best way to make that happen. Hi, Laverne.
Okay, so we are at. I told everyone I would honor the time, so we're at 1 hour and 4 minutes. Lori and I will stay online, but I wanted to say thank you. If anyone wants to stay on, we'll stay on for another half hour. But I wanted to just make sure you all met my lovely wife of a zillion years, Laverne, and every minute that she spent with me.
A gazillion years, yeah.
All right, so thank you all. We'll stay on, but thank you all for your questions.
Okay.
Just been fantastic. Okay. All right, so let's see. So I think we answered Vernon's question about the dealer in Salt Lake. Do service repairs on the Airstream, or did we get that?
Yes, we got that.
Okay, awesome. Let's see. A question from Joe about will seminars be live streamed or recorded? And I think that means at the international rally.
Yeah, I touched on that one as well.
And the answer is, because I've forgotten what the answer is.
So that is our goal, but of course that has to do with equipment, manpower to get that stuff recorded, and our complication of depending upon who it is, if there's copyright informations. But yes, that is our goal. And of course, there's always, not always, but a lot of seminars have handouts, so those are always uploaded to our site and will be there forever.
Okay, I'm typing my contact information in also. So you guys can
Jim
feel.
says Laverne's hair looks great too.
Yeah, I'm trying to find an emoji, appropriate one for Jim, but I can't. All right, let's see. All right.
Hi,
so-
Dindy.
Yeah, sorry, Dindy. No, we didn't record it, did we? I don't think. We should have recorded it, right?
Yes, we did. That's why I'm having issues with my sound here.
Okay, yeah, it's recorded. A mobile app. Lindsay, I would love to provision a mobile app. This is in terms of, right now we have airshinclub.org, but it's it's on a website. It's designed to work with a mobile device, but it's not an app. So got that? I would love to have that, particularly for a subset of our stuff. I think, for example, what I've heard is that it'd be love to have a mobile app that works well for courtesy parking in our rallies, maybe not for registering or renewing, but for some of the things we go to a lot. So thank you. I already answered my email. It's emchenry@airstreamclub.org. I think it's, anyway, yeah, I'll leave that at that. So let's see what else. Question of how many people tuned in? I think we had at the max 180 or 200, not really sure.
Close.
All right. Oh, another question someone asked earlier I missed, and that's that the app that we use at the international rally is called Groupio. I think a lot of us have a love-hate relationship with Groupio, and we've looked at alternatives for Groupio. We're not going to change it this year. There's just too many things going on for 2023, but we're going to look at it again for ongoing ones. It's been very successful for us, but I would be the first to say that it's not as user-friendly as we would like. The challenge is that the more user-friendly ones require money. I mean, no surprise, right? And so we need to figure out if we can afford to do that or not. So we would fund it as part of the rally cost. So, all right.
Marlene, I see your note to email you about Deb, which I will, or if let you know that her last day is November 4th. She is retiring from the club.
I think we're done. This has been fantastic. I would love to do this face to face. It looks like it was people enjoyed it. We answered a lot of questions, and that was the goal. So we'll talk to you all. If not in 3 months, we'll talk before. So travel safe, and you have my contact information. I always put it in the blue beret, my email and my phone number. So feel free to reach out, or feel free to give Lori a call. All right. Thank you all, and have a good evening. All right. Good night.